There's a country in the heart of Europe where precision isn't just a habit, it's practically a religion. Where engineers are treated like rock stars, and where some of the most world-changing ideas were born in workshops, laboratories, and garages that most people have never heard of. What came out of those spaces didn't just make life easier, it completely rewired how the modern world works. Germany didn't just contribute to history. In many ways, it invented the future before anyone else saw it coming. Most people know about German cars and German beer, but beneath those famous exports is a legacy of innovation so deep that you're probably using something with German origins right now without even realizing it. Some of these inventions saved millions of lives. Others transformed entire industries overnight. And a few are so embedded in daily life that imagining a world without them feels almost impossible. From the medicine in your cabinet, to the music on your phone, to the vehicle parked outside, German minds have shaped more of your reality than you'd ever guess. And that's where things get fascinating. Once you start tracing these inventions back to their roots, you realize just how much of the modern world was dreamed up in one small corner of Europe. And it all starts with something so fundamental, so revolutionary, that it literally changed how humans share knowledge forever. The first invention on this list didn't just change Germany, it transformed civilization itself. In the 1440s, a goldsmith named Johannes Gutenberg created the printing press with movable type, and nothing was ever the same again. Before Gutenberg, books were copied by hand, a process so slow and expensive that only the wealthy and powerful had access to written knowledge. After Gutenberg, ideas could spread like wildfire. The printing press didn't just make books affordable, it sparked the Renaissance, fueled the Reformation, and laid the groundwork for modern science, democracy, and education. Every newspaper, every novel, every textbook you have ever read owes its existence to a workshop in Mainz over 5 centuries ago. But German innovation did not stop at words on paper. It extended to the very way humans move through the world. In 1886, Carl Benz patented what most historians consider the first true automobile, the Benz patent motor wagon. It was not fast, it was not comfortable, but it was the spark that ignited an entire industry. Just a few years later, Gottlieb Daimler and Wilhelm Maybach were pushing the concept even further. The car as we know it, with an internal combustion engine and 4 wheels, was born on German soil. And today, names like Mercedes-Benz, BMW, Porsche, and Volkswagen still dominate roads across the globe. Around the same time, another German engineer was solving a different problem. Rudolf Diesel wanted an engine that was more efficient than anything on the market, something that could run on cheaper fuel and waste less energy. In 1893, he unveiled the diesel engine, a design so effective that it now powers trucks, ships, trains, and generators worldwide. Without Diesel's work, global trade and transportation would look completely different. These 3 inventions alone, the printing press, the automobile, and the diesel engine, would be enough to secure Germany's place in history. But this is just the beginning. German innovation was not limited to machines and engines. It reached into places far more personal, including the medicine cabinet in your home. If you have ever taken a pill to ease a headache, there is a good chance you have used something invented in Germany. In 1897, chemists at Bayer developed aspirin, one of the most widely used medications in human history. What started as a treatment for pain and fever became a cornerstone of modern medicine, and it was later discovered to help prevent heart attacks and strokes. Aspirin did not just relieve suffering, it opened the door to the entire pharmaceutical industry as we know it. But even before aspirin, German science was pushing medical boundaries. In 1895, Wilhelm Conrad Röntgen accidentally discovered X-rays while experimenting with cathode rays in his laboratory. Within weeks, doctors were using this mysterious new technology to see inside the human body without making a single incision. Röntgen's discovery earned him the first Nobel Prize in physics, and X-ray imaging became one of the most important diagnostic tools in medical history. Germany's contributions to medicine didn't stop there. Robert Koch, often called the father of modern bacteriology, identified the bacteria responsible for tuberculosis, cholera, and anthrax. His work didn't just save lives. It created the scientific framework for understanding infectious disease, paving the way for vaccines, antibiotics, and public health systems that protect billions of people today. And then there is morphine. Isolated by German pharmacist Friedrich Serturner in the early 1800s, this powerful painkiller revolutionized surgery and pain management. It was one of the first drugs ever extracted from a plant in pure form, and it set the stage for modern pharmacology. These medical breakthroughs alone would fill history books. But German inventors were not just focused on healing bodies. They were also busy reshaping how humans think, communicate, and understand the universe itself. When Albert Einstein published his theory of relativity in the early 1900s, he did not just challenge old ideas, he demolished them. Space and time were not fixed. Mass and energy were connected. The universe operated on rules that seemed almost impossible to believe, and yet experiment after experiment proved Einstein right. His work did not just change physics, it made nuclear energy possible, influenced GPS technology, and reshaped humanity's understanding of reality itself. Around the same time, Max Planck was laying the foundation for quantum mechanics, a field so strange that even the scientists who developed it struggled to accept its implications. Planck's discovery of energy quanta opened doors that led to lasers, semiconductors, and the entire digital age. Without quantum theory, there would be no smartphones, no computers, no modern electronics. And speaking of electronics, here is an invention most people use every single day without ever thinking about where it came from. The MP3 format, the technology that lets you carry thousands of songs in your pocket, was developed at the Fraunhofer Institute in Germany during the late 1980s. Before MP3 became common, music was trapped on physical media, such as CDs, tapes, and vinyl records. German engineers figured out how to compress audio files without destroying sound quality, and in doing so, they revolutionized the entire music industry. Streaming, digital downloads, and podcasts, all of it traces back to a German laboratory. But Germany's influence on sound goes even further back. The first practical tape recorder was developed by German engineers in the 1930s, a technology that transformed radio broadcasting, music production, and eventually home entertainment. Even the accordion, that unmistakable instrument heard in folk music around the world, was patented in Vienna by a German-born inventor. From the physics of the universe to the music in your earbuds, German innovation reaches into corners of life you would never expect. And yet, some of the most surprising inventions have nothing to do with science or technology at all. Here is one that might catch you off guard. The concept of kindergarten, the idea that young children benefit from structured play and early education, was invented by a German educator named Friedrich Froebel in the 1830s. Before Froebel, formal education started much later. He believed that children learned best through guided play, songs, and creative activities. His Garden of Children concept spread across Europe, then to America, and eventually became a cornerstone of education systems worldwide. And while we're talking about traditions that shaped global culture, let's talk about Christmas trees. The custom of decorating evergreen trees during the winter holiday season was popularized in Germany centuries ago. German immigrants brought the tradition to Britain and America, and today it is almost impossible to imagine the holiday season without a decorated tree glowing in the corner. Even gummy bears, those chewy little candies loved by children and adults alike, were invented in Germany. Hans Riegel founded Haribo in 1920, and he introduced the world to the gummy bear in 1922. What started as a small candy shop in Bonn became a global empire, and gummy candies are now a multi-billion-dollar industry. These cultural exports might seem lighter than engines and medical breakthroughs, but they have touched billions of lives in ways that are hard to measure, and they remind us that innovation is not always about solving big problems. Sometimes it is about creating joy. Still, German engineers never stopped tackling the big challenges, and some of their most impressive work literally helped humanity reach for the sky. The dream of human flight did not start with the Wright brothers. It started with Otto Lilienthal, a German aviation pioneer who made over 2,000 glider flights in the 1890s. Lilienthal's meticulous research and daring experiments inspired aviators around the world, including the Wright brothers themselves. Without his work, powered flight might have taken decades longer to achieve. But Germany's contributions to aviation did not stop with gliders. Hans von Ohain developed one of the first operational jet engines. That technology would eventually make global air travel fast and affordable. And then there is Wernher von Braun, whose rocket research, though born in a complicated historical context, laid the groundwork for the space age. The Saturn V rocket that carried astronauts to the moon was built on principles von Braun helped develop. Even the helicopter owes part of its existence to German engineering. Heinrich Facke built one of the first practical helicopters in the 1930s, proving that vertical flight was more than just a dream. From gliders to jets to rockets, German minds helped humanity break free from the ground and reach toward the stars. Back on Earth, German inventors kept improving everyday life in ways both big and small. Carl von Linde perfected refrigeration technology in the late 1800s, making it possible to preserve food, transport perishables across continents, and eventually provide air conditioning for homes and offices. Modern life without refrigeration is almost unthinkable, and it all traces back to a German engineer. The electron microscope, developed by German scientists in the 1930s, allowed researchers to see structures far smaller than anything visible with light. This technology revolutionized biology, medicine, and materials science, opening up entirely new fields of research. Even the airbag, the life-saving cushion that deploys in a car crash, was patented by a German engineer. Today, airbags are standard equipment in vehicles worldwide, and they have saved countless lives since their introduction. And here's one more that might surprise you. The chip card, also known as the smart card, was invented by German engineers. That little chip embedded in your credit card, your ID, and your transit pass all started with German innovation. When you step back and look at all 30 of these inventions, a clear pattern emerges. Germany did not just create isolated gadgets or one-off discoveries. It built systems, frameworks, and technologies that became the foundation for entire industries. The printing press enabled mass communication. The automobile created personal mobility. Medical breakthroughs extended human life. And digital innovations connected the world in ways previous generations could not have imagined. What makes this legacy even more remarkable is how diverse it is. Engineering and medicine, physics and music, education and candy. German innovation touched every corner of human experience, often in ways that went unnoticed until you stop and trace the origins. And perhaps that is the most fascinating part. So many of these inventions have become so ordinary, so woven into the fabric of daily life, that we forget they had to be invented at all. But every car on the road, every pill in the medicine cabinet, every song streaming through your headphones carries a piece of German history with it. And there you have it, 30 German inventions that did not just change a country, they changed the entire world. From Gutenberg's printing press to the MP3 in your pocket, German innovation has shaped how we live, move, heal, and connect in ways most people never realize. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Germany's incredible legacy of invention, make sure to subscribe to Germany Rewind so you never miss another journey through the history, culture, and hidden stories of this fascinating country. Hit that notification bell and join us as we uncover more surprising facts that make Germany truly one of a kind. Because behind every familiar piece of modern life, there is often a German inventor who made it possible. Those stories are waiting to be told.